say good morning here. He did a good job. Shane, you're done for the day. We're going to make it really difficult here. Well, we're going to do a couple things here, first of all. We are webcasting this. Are we webcasting this, Matt?
It is.
Matt Allred, raise your hand. He's our technical guy. We're webcasting this because we thought you guys are going to like this so much, you're going to want to go back afterwards tonight and show it to your wife and your kids. Show them what you did. Probably not, huh? But maybe the other regions want to see what you guys are doing down here, because I really think what you do down here is very unique, and I think I know it really pays dividends in bringing the region together and helping you guys get ready for the change in the season. So I appreciate Region 4 and the folks out of Central coming down and sharing what they have to say with you. We are going to call this a Talking Orange episode. The reason we do this is in the employee survey, we heard over and over again from our employees, you want more communication from me, I guess, and from Shane, and from other leadership in the department. So we wanted to improve internal communication. So this is one way in which we're doing that, and we're trying to make me feel embarrassed and do that. Now, why was Ken Berg's presentation so important? Who here can tell me why painting lines in the road and making sure those lines are bright is important?
That's the last thing the public sees.
It's the last thing the public sees. When they drive, they see these things, don't they? Or they want to see these things. It is one of the most important elements on our highways for safety. And when you think about our strategic goals, and I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about that for a very short amount of time, our strategic goal of 0 fatalities, having good lines on the road is critical. And if you think about the future of transportation, you're probably hearing a lot about autonomous vehicles that drive by themselves, the Google car, Tesla car, a bunch of cars right now, they're out there actually can drive by themselves. The number one thing that these car manufacturers are saying that they're really concerned about is the lines on the road, because they're using LiDAR, radar, they're using electronics to be able to see those lines to keep the cars in the middle of the road. So the future of transportation is going to be very still highly dependent on how good a job we do painting those lines on the road. So Ken, thank you for keeping us focused on the latest and best products out there. Okay, I'm going to do a couple things here. We're going to do a silver barrel announcement, and it's going to be around safety. But first, I'm going to have a safety discussion with you guys first. Begin every meeting with a safety message. My safety message for you is summer's coming, wear sunblock. Why do I say that? I visited the skin doctor here last week, and he had a lot of fun burning holes in my face. You guys don't want to do that. It was precancerous elements. He said, oh, you're just fine. We'll just burn those things out of there. So wear sunblock when you're out there this summer. That's your safety message for today, okay? Let's do a silver barrel real quick. And I think, Rick, you're going to probably help me with this. One of the things we wanted to do, if I can find myself. You guys know what the silver barrel is? Recognition for something really well done. Okay, late again, he's raising his hand here. So, Dan Hinckley, Dan, where are you? Come on up, Dan, sitting right up in the front, I love it. Okay, Dan really took an initiative here to help advance our behavioral-based safety program. And Rick is pulling up off the Region 4 website now, off the forums. The forum that, congratulations, thank you for what
Thank
you
you.
The forum that Dan created to help improve the implementation of behavioral-based safety. And Dan, come here right here. Tell me, why did you do this, and how do you get open shoes? And here, we're going to get very close.
Thank you. You know, we've learned we've got so many great guys in our region, and all of them are very tech savvy, or they're getting there. We know that's kind of the future, especially with a lot of the construction, documentation, and everything. A lot of them have smartphones, and this was something that instead of having to carry around a big form, they can just pull their phone out anytime they wanted to, access this through a shortcut, and then go ahead and fill out the form. And it was easy for the guys, it was easy for Lori Huntsman back in the region office, who is collecting the data and putting it in the program. It's just way easier for her to analyze that data and get all uploaded so we can watch our trends as a region and make sure we're being as safe as we can.
Thank you very much, Dan. Let's recognize Dan for the work he's done. what we have here is fit for framing here. Maybe Rick will take it upon himself and purchase a frame because I can only pay for this fancy form here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we have a silver barrel in here as well as a sticker for your hard hat. But the most important thing for all of us here at UDOT is that each and every one of you goes home safely with all of your fingers and you're not injured so you can play with your kids, your grandkids, whatever it might be. So thank you for coming to our folks. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Now I'm going to ask Morgan again to come up here and get me back on track. Okay, we're going to go through a real quick presentation, but it's really quick. But the bottom line is I want to make myself available to answer any questions you guys might have. So here, I got a pointer too. Okay. So how many of you guys watched that live webcast we did a couple weeks ago at the end of the legislative session? Okay. Was it helpful? Were there things that you wanted to know that you didn't hear? I'm looking for the best way to give you information you might want. And if that information is you don't want to hear from me, that's fine as well. But you know what? I'm not going to quit too easily. So I'm going to go here quickly, just do a few things, and then I'm going to turn the time to you. And hopefully we can have a dialogue, and that's what I'd like to do. And then once we're done with that, we'll go to lunch. But what we're not going to do is go to lunch without having a good question session here. So you're going to have to rely on somebody here to ask questions. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the UDOT vision and mission here. And our vision statement is to keep Utah moving. And the vision statement is, what do we need to do as an organization to be successful in the future? And so as UDOT, we need to be thinking about how we're going to keep Utahns moving, how we're going to keep cars moving, trucks moving, how we're going to keep transit moving, pedestrians, bicyclists, whatever it might be. As a Department of Transportation, we're all about keeping Utah moving. And by keeping Utah moving, we keep Utah competitive. So, mission statement. Why do we care about a mission statement? What's the purpose of a mission statement? A mission statement is the reason an organization exists. Now, a lot of you may think that we exist as an organization because we're going to go out and we're going to repave that road or we're going to push snow. That's how we accomplish our mission. Our mission is to make sure that we're innovating transportation solutions to improve the economy and quality of life. Every single transportation system in this world was created around expanding the economy of the country, the nation, a state. That's what the whole purpose was. That's why we built the interstate in this country here. It's why the transcontinental railroad was developed. It's why the shipping powers of the British Navy were developed, for them to be able to expand their influence and their economy around the world. Every transportation system has been focused around growing an economy. So when you think about how important what you do is, the ability for your families, yes, that's obvious because you're earning a paycheck from the department, but the families of just about every person in this state is dependent on us doing our jobs, because every business in the state depends on transportation, whether it's getting their employees to and from work or getting their products to market. Think about that. What you do matters to everyone in this state because for them to be able to have a successful job and quality of life. If you want to be able to take the weekends, go down to Moab and ride your motorcycles down there, whatever it might be. You know our 3 goals. I talked a little bit about 0 fatalities. We did not have a great year last year. How many people lost their lives on Utah's roadways last year? Over 200, Ken says. Anyone more precise? 276 lives. We went up significantly. We were at 256 the year before. We were at 220 the year before that. And the year before that, in 2012, we were at 217 lives. That was the lowest number of lives lost on Utah's roadways since 1958. We can get to 0 fatalities. We had 175 days last year where nobody died on our roadways. If you can do 175 days, why can't we do 180? Why can't we do 200? We can. We can get there. So everything that we do in our jobs, we need to make sure we're doing a couple things. One, we're making sure that our fellow employees are safe, and we care about them. And you'll hear a little bit, Rick will talk about the success of Region 4's behavioral-based safety program tomorrow, I believe. But we also need to be thinking about how we do our works affects the publics, and how the public traveling on our roadways can be safe. Optimize mobility, this is all the projects that you guys do such a great job on, whether it's adding capacity, adding climb links to I-15, or putting in traffic signals and preserving infrastructure. It was a big part of the work that Region 4 folks are doing, is taking care of what we have. We have a $34 billion asset value in the state. $24 billion asset value is our pavements, concrete and asphalt, if you think about it. That's a huge amount of asset value that is our responsibility to take care of. Bridges, I think, is $7 or $8 billion on top of that 24. So we're taking care of a lot of high value assets here. And the way we do our jobs, making sure we do the right project at the right time, is going to help us have a lower cost of ownership. Good roads cost less, good bridges cost less. And that's why it's so important, the work that you do. Okay, just a little bit on the primary seatbelt law. Year over year, the single biggest reason why people lose their lives on our roadways is wearing a seatbelt. That's why it's required for every employee to wear their seatbelts. That's why we worked so hard during, not this last session, but the 2015 session, to pass a primary seatbelt law. So now you can be pulled over if law enforcement sees that you're not wearing a seatbelt. We've seen seatbelt compliance go from 83% to 87% in the last survey. Most of the states that go from a secondary to a primary bill see an increase in compliance of anywhere between 10 and 12% usage of seatbelts. The more people to wear their seatbelts, the more people will live and survive crashes. This is last year's presentation.
Oh, that's the roll.
This is the one I gave you guys last year. How come you guys aren't even come?
Jeez, Rick.
You guys didn't delete that presentation from last year?
It was that good. It was that good.
You were going pretty good.
It took me a while to realize that was not the right time. Yeah, that's on one slide, okay. Okay, 2 slides left. Okay, those of you that have, and I failed to bring out one of those little cards I use for our vision and mission. Shane, you got one in your pocket?
Yes.
Joe would. But we're making a little bit of change here today, and we're making a change for a couple of reasons. Those of you probably that have seen our emphasis areas are those areas that we're trying to provide a little bit extra push to, have known that we had innovation as a value of UDOT. And we're changing that. We're putting innovation as an emphasis. It's really more of an action item. So innovation now is becoming an emphasis area. And the other change is, this is that roadmap that I talked about, is we're adding trust under a core value. And when I talked about core values, and I talk about all of our employees about core values, the fundamentally most important one is that public trust. The trust that the public has in us to do the right thing. And we have been inferred under our values, but we have not been direct about it. And so I'm here to tell you that day in and day out, the currency of this department is the public's trust in us to do the right thing with their money. And so I'm just here, you're the first ones to hear this. We're making a little bit of a change. It's not a significant change. It doesn't change the way we're doing our business, but it does change in how we're communicating this. And so that's really the changes in the roadmap that I wanted to talk about. Now, I'm done, and now it's your turn. And we can do this 2 ways. We can turn the camera and put you guys on TV. Who wants to be on TV?
Look at all those hands go.
I can put you on TV. Can we see the room?
Yeah, you can see the room.
Okay, wave to your wife. There we go. Who has a question for me? Come on. You guys in black up here. What's your question?
Michael.
Yeah, what do you have? Nobody goes to lunch until we get questions from every table.
Tests that we have on the highway, we change our laws to affect UDOT. How many of these are statistically out of state or out of country?
Yeah, great question. We change our laws to affect UDOT's behavior, but how many of these fatalities are in-state, are out-of-state versus in-state fatalities? I don't have the exact number at the top of my head, by far away, I'd say over 95% to 98% are in-state fatalities on our roadways. We do track this, and unfortunately, I do see the numbers of Utahns that lose their lives and our adjoining states as well. So we work hard to try to get the message out, but it is a concern. So as you go from state to state, there's sometimes some a little bit different laws. And sometimes when you go from Utah, you don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle, perhaps, but you go to another state and you need to wear it. And I remember being a tough guy back east, and we would, as soon as we hit the border of New Hampshire, in Vermont, we take our helmets off because we thought it was cool because they didn't have a helmet on. And I look back at that now, I just couldn't believe we did that. But, good question. Second row, here. What do you guys got? We're going to get every table.
So gather up, think about what you're gonna ask. There you go.
What's on your mind? Nothing? You're wondering what's for lunch? This is what we can do, Rick. The guys that ask questions can get first in row for lunch. Is it a buffet type thing?
No, they're on their own today.
Oh. So we're going to be buying the lunch, okay. Yes.
So just judging on the funding sources going up and money coming up and looking at the project loads that are going out, it seems to me it's going to be very hard for UDOT to keep up. What do we project for employment here? Do we project growing our staff? Do we project just outsourcing a lot more?
Great question. The question is, with the funding going up, we got a gas tax that we're implementing, so we're going to be having more projects coming in. And the sales tax is going up as well, so the capacity projects will see more of that. Do we see ourselves adding more employees to the UDOT roster? I see head shaking no. It's very difficult to add employees to the roster. I mean, it's very easy for the legislature to add money to our projects because they see it going to projects. It's very hard to add employees. So that's why this program, the TransTech program, the work you're doing here is so important. Because what you're doing is you're becoming, I call it, moving the fulcrum on a lever. And essentially, we're going to have to use the expertise of our employees to take advantage of the private sector. And so you guys are going to need to know how to basically manage and lead contractors more so than ever before. So that's why everyone needs to be, even thinking about not only how you do the work, but how do you direct the work to be done, how do you measure the work and the outcome that you do. So I anticipate we will probably add a few here and there, but it's not going to be anything significant. Good question. Jim?
Carlos, on the zero fatalities, kind of in conjunction with his question, those are measured statewide on all roads.
Yes, they're statewide.
What are we doing with the local governments to ensure that they're keeping their zero fatalities down like we are?
Jim's question was that, when we talk about fatalities, it's not just the 6,000 center line miles of roadway that UDOT is responsible for, because that's about 30% of the total statewide center line miles. So we work actively, our Zero Fatalities program works actively with local governments, with institutions like Primary Children's Hospital, with law enforcement, local law enforcement, as well as emergency responders, to try to get the message out on zero fatalities. We work with the Joint Highway Committee, which is comprised of county commissioners and mayors from local governments as well. So this is a all hands on deck effort on zero fatalities. It's important.
Do you know what the percentage is between UDOT's roads and your roads?
Seeing as UDOT roads carry 70% of the traffic, there's a much higher percentage. I'm not off the top of my head. We do have that on the data on our zerofatalities.com website, but it's by far away a higher percentage on UDOT roads. The ones that you hate to see are the ones that happen, just outside of a driveway, or, we have, I think we have 12 pedestrian fatalities. Shane, do you remember?
12.
12 pedestrian fatalities this year alone. It's unbelievable. There was one back here.
One in the very back.
Very bad. Oh,
Carlos, as the money increases for the level 2 highways, and the stations that are rural, with just one tech 3, what are the chances of getting 2 techs per station? So the maintenance continue while the other tech 3 is on construction. Is that something?
yeah, I don't think you're going to see a blanket two tech 3s per station, but you're going to see us being flexible and looking where the work is and what we need to, the thing that every region director and then Shane and then it comes to me, every single position is we have to ask ourselves, is that position in the right place? When one comes available. So we have to try to be a little more flexible in putting those people where they need to be. There's no absolutes. If there's a clear, compelling reason to fill a position in a place, we will do that. We have caps that the legislation allows us to work within, and getting outside that cap requires legislative action. So we'll work as best we can within those caps. The key is for you guys to, as soon as possible, start to talk to your supervisors and region directors about where you see the needs and what we need to be thinking about so that we can be flexible. All right.
You talk about the zero towers. Are they going to change the speed to the highways?
Yeah, the question was, I talked about zero fatalities. Are they going to change the speed limits for these rural highways? Right. Yeah, who sets the speed limits, right? Awesome. So when you said they, I didn't know if you thought it was some people. Yeah, and speeds are set based on a speed study. Several things. A speed study, and that speed study looks and determines what 85% of the people driving at. So I guess the assumption in that, and the science behind that, is 15% of the people are crazy, and 85% of the people are reasonable. And then it looks at the geometrics and it determines are those curves designed for a 70 mile an hour? Does it have the right super elevation and banking in there? Vertical curves. Do you have sight distance? Can you stop if you're going at that speed in time if you see something over a hill? There's no plans right now to look at the speed limits on 6. We were directed to look and do speed studies on all the interstates, which we've completed doing all the interstates, and they've all been reposted. We will do a speed study in Sardine Canyon, right, Shane?
This summer.
This summer, at the request of the legislature as well. But we have no plans of right now looking at 6 and those types of roads.
Like during a snowstorm, somebody have to put up like a digital speed limit sign, be able to automatically trump it.
We love that idea. Everything. We might be electronic. The question was, did we ever think of during a snowstorm having electronic signs that allow us to change the speed limits, to slow it down, variable-based speed limits? And we're doing that right now in Parliament Canyon. And it's working well, and I know Rick would love to do it down on the Beaver Ridge.
Beaver Ridge and potentially, or no, Pine Creek.
Pine Creek.
And potentially Flat Ridge.
Yeah. So we'd like to do it. There's an infrastructure cost of putting it in, but there's also one thing we learned a few things, but in Parliament Canyon is it takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of folks actually at the Traffic Operations Center to be able to do the analysis and make that change and manage it. So yes, we're going to get there. In those areas, especially on those canyon roads for snow, where we have challenges with snow. I eventually see all the urban interstates being variable speed limit areas. So we can actively manage those highways in a way that I think will be able to move more people through more safely. So that's absolutely part of our future, and we'll see it increasing around the state as we can afford to put in the electronics and we'll have to have the people to do the analysis. It's a good question. Nothing back there? I've got 2 minutes. What can I do for you guys?
How about go over the healthcare increase at cost and then the rates bill?
Okay, good question. The governor didn't quite get what he asked for. The way that the budgets work, and if I talk too much, just tell me to get off the point. They do something in Utah which is unique, and it's actually a good practice. There's a consensus revenue projection. That means there's agreement. The governor's office sits down with the treasurer's office, sits down with the legislative fiscal analyst's office, and sits down with the economists at the University of Utah. And they agree on what they believe the growth in the economy will be. And that's what they call consensus revenue. And then they budget to that consensus revenue. In other states, you have the governor's office with one budget revenue projection. They budget to that, legislature to another one, and that's part of the reason they can never come to agreement. So the way that happened this session is we went into the session in November. There was the consensus revenue projection, and it was up here. When they did the February budget, it was down here. Still growing, but not growing as fast as they had projected it would. So they didn't have as much money to work with. So that means the employees were left with 2% increase. And it's basically going to be administered. We haven't seen the rules out of the DHR yet, but it's going to, in my understanding, it's going to be administered as a COLA. So those ranges will move. So employees will get 2%. And if it's not administered as moving the ranges, if the ranges stay, every employee will get 2%. If you're at the top of your range in longevity, what will happen is you'll get a one-time bonus that will be the equivalent of that yearly 2%. Or if you're close to the range, you'll get up to the range, and then the differential will be that one-time bonus. So that's the pay piece. We had been asking for a hotspot. They don't call it hotspot anymore.
Hotspot works.
Hotspot, where we could, remember the guys, Transtech 2s and Transtech 1s, we were able to help out a lot last year. And we were hoping to be able to do that again for other classes of employees this year. Legislature didn't fund it. We think that was a good tool to have. So the healthcare, they covered your healthcare costs. So the healthcare increase, this is the scary part about the healthcare is 7.3% increase is what your healthcare costs would have increased this year. Well, it's how much they did increase this year. Legislature's covering that full increase. So that's money not out of your pocket. So not bad, not very good, but sure as heck beats the 4 years in a row where we had nothing, right? So. Yes.
Just got a question. We talked earlier about a couple of rear-end collisions on the snow plows. But has there been any talk or discussion about increasing the visibility of the back end of the snow plow? Most cities and counties have a lot more rear visibility on their plows than what we have.
Yeah, there's Jason's been looking at this, hasn't he?
Yes. Yep.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the question so you have the mic.
Okay, repeat the question. We've had a couple of rear-end crashes on our snow plows. We had one Friday, right? Saturday. Was anyone here? You're okay?
A little bit scary.
Was that one of the 15% I was talking about that are just crazy people?
I think so.
Turn that off.
Having slow down. She was going 70, 75.
In the storm.
And the road was covered.
So the question was, are we looking at doing a better job with reflectivity? Remember what Ken called retro-reflectivity, Ken? It's a cool word. I can't spell it. For the back of our snow plows.
The answer is yes, we are. We're both some tape and different lighting configurations that would help that visibility. The operations group, the equipment operations group is always looking for better ways to make those big orange trucks that you would think that are big and orange and you can see them far away. You can't, right? And you shake your head like, yes, you can't see
Yeah,
them. So,
I mean, it depends on the weather. I mean, a lot
Right.
of times those, you know, it gets pretty dirty back there anyway, so the little rotary you have is not that great.
right,
All right.
right. We're looking at different colors, different light configurations, and different safety points.
Can I say something along that line?
Corbin.
I just got a new Mac. It's got I look like a Christmas tree going down the road. But Keith was following me one time in his plow, and I asked him, "Can you see my brake lights?" This truck has so much light that it's hard to see my brake lights also. So it's 6s right now. You can see me, but you don't know when I'm slowing down.
Great.
That's a big one. Christmas tree, huh?
Right.
Anything else, guys? Anything I can do for you? Well, thank you guys for what you do, for UDOT, for what you do to the state. You guys make a difference. You do. Like I said, I'm serious. You make a difference to every person in the state of Utah, whether you use our roads or not. So thank you very much. Be safe out there. Put your phone down. Wear your seatbelts. Thanks for keeping Utah moving, guys. Have a great day.